In a single night, the United States unleashed more than 40 tons of bunker-busting firepower on Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear and missile complex. But this wasn't another surface-level strike. This time, the bombs didn't just hit entrances or infrastructure. They punched deep into the mountain itself, targeting what may have been one of the most dangerous stockpiles on Earth: 540 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium and the missile production lines designed to weaponize it. On the night of March 31st, 2026, massive fireballs and shockwaves erupted from beneath the ground in Isfahan, Iran's third-largest city, a place known for its culture and history, but also the beating heart of Iran's nuclear and missile ambitions. Beneath its surface lies a vast, interconnected network described by analysts as a hidden fortress: uranium conversion plants, fuel fabrication units, centrifuge manufacturing, metal processing labs, and Iran's largest missile assembly complex, all buried under layers of rock and reinforced concrete, protected by a mountain rising 1,700 meters high, stretching over 50 kilometers. This underground labyrinth reportedly housed ballistic missiles, drone engines, precision guidance systems, and volatile rocket fuel. But perhaps most critical of all, intelligence suggested that this is where Iran had moved a massive uranium stockpile, enough for potentially 11 nuclear weapons, hidden inside containers transported into tunnels long before earlier strikes in 2025. For months, even international inspectors were unable to verify what lay beneath. The facility became a mystery and a ticking clock. Then came March 31st. Just 10 minutes past midnight, the silence over Isfahan was shattered. The first move wasn't the bombs, it was blindness. US and Israeli forces neutralized advanced air defense systems, including Bavar 373 and S-300 radars, effectively erasing Iran's ability to see what was coming. With defenses crippled, stealth bombers slipped through undetected. What followed was a coordinated strike of overwhelming force. B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, F-15 E-Strike Eagles, and B-1B Lancers deployed wave after wave of 2,000-pound bunker buster munitions. Estimates suggest between 45 to 50 GBU. 3-1 bombs equipped with BLU-109 penetrators were dropped, each designed not to explode on impact, but to drill deep through nearly 2 meters of reinforced concrete and rock before detonating. Altogether, this amounted to roughly 36 to 41 tons of pure penetrator force. But the real devastation began after impact. These bombs didn't just explode, they triggered a chain reaction deep underground. In a confined tunnel system, pressure waves have nowhere to escape. Instead, they bounce, amplify, and ignite everything in their path: missile fuel, warheads, explosives, all detonated in sequence. What started as targeted strikes quickly became an underground inferno. Secondary explosions lit up the night sky. The mountain itself appeared to erupt from within. Collapses followed. Fires raged. Craters formed across the terrain. What had once been Iran's most secure underground complex turned into a collapsing, burning void. And in the immediate aftermath, a statement from Donald Trump raised eyebrows worldwide. We were successful. And now we have a country that's not going to be throwing a nuclear weapon at us. A bold claim and a clear message. If accurate, it suggested that not only had the facility been hit, but that Iran's nuclear and missile capabilities may have been critically damaged, perhaps even dismantled. But this moment didn't happen overnight. It was the culmination of a year-long escalation, each phase going deeper than the last. The first wave began on June 13, 2025, when Israeli forces struck key structures at the Isfahan Nuclear Technology Center, damaging surface-level facilities. But Israel lacked the firepower to reach what lay underground. 9 days later, the second wave came, and this time, the United States stepped in. Under Operation Midnight Hammer, 7 B-2 bombers flew an 18-hour mission from the United States and deployed 14 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, the most powerful conventional bombs in existence, targeting deeply buried sites like Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. At Fordo, bombs were dropped sequentially into ventilation shafts, burrowing deep before detonating. Cruise missiles followed, collapsing tunnel entrances. Yet despite the scale of destruction, the uranium stockpile remained unaccounted for. Months passed, and uncertainty grew. Then came the third wave, Operation Epic Fury, launched on February 28, 2026. Over the course of weeks, Isfahan was relentlessly targeted. Air bases, military headquarters, nuclear facility entrances, and industrial sites were struck repeatedly. Even historic landmarks were damaged as the intensity escalated. But all these attacks had one limitation: they focused on the surface. The true target remained hidden underground. That brings us back to March 31st, the fourth wave, and the moment everything changed. This time, the objective was clear: destroy what lies beneath. And midway through this unfolding story, I want to hear from you. Do you think this strike changed the balance of power completely, or will it escalate things even further? Drop your thoughts below, and if you believe this was a decisive move, comment proud of the USA. I'm curious to see where you stand, but while the United States delivered a devastating blow underground, Iran responded in a very different way, an asymmetric strategy. On the very same day, Iranian forces targeted a massive oil tanker, the Al Salmi, near the coast of Dubai using a kamikaze drone. This wasn't just any ship, it was carrying 2 million barrels of oil and valued at over $200 million. What made this strike even more alarming was its location not in the narrow Strait of Hormuz, but in what was considered a safe anchorage zone. The message was unmistakable: nowhere is safe. Since the conflict began, at least 24 maritime incidents have been reported. Iran escalated further by linking transit through the Strait of Hormuz to new conditions and banning US and Israeli vessels entirely. The global consequences were immediate. Oil prices surged, Brent crude hitting $115, with warnings it could climb to $200 if the strait remains closed. US gasoline prices crossed $4 per gallon. Markets across Asia dropped sharply, wiping out months of gains. The world economy felt the shock instantly. And here lies the paradox. The United States demonstrated unmatched military dominance, striking deep underground, dismantling critical infrastructure, and potentially crippling Iran's nuclear ambitions. Yet, it still faces a challenge it cannot easily solve: reopening a 30-kilometer stretch of water. Because unlike Isfahan, the threat in the Strait of Hormuz isn't fixed, it's everywhere. Naval mines, unmanned surface vessels, anti-ship missiles, and drones create a constantly shifting battlefield. Clearing mines alone could take weeks, and during that time, every ship becomes a target. Insurance companies are already refusing coverage, effectively freezing global shipping. Even as military victories stack up, the strategic objective remains just out of reach. Meanwhile, tensions continue to rise. A new ultimatum was issued, with threats to target Iran's power plants, oil infrastructure, and critical utilities if the strait isn't reopened. A deadline looms, but signals from leadership remain mixed, creating uncertainty in global markets. On the other side, Iran rejects negotiations, calling the demands unreasonable. Diplomacy seems increasingly distant, and amid all this, one image stood out: a mushroom cloud over Isfahan, shared without explanation. It wasn't just a symbol of destruction, it was psychological warfare. A message broadcast to both the Iranian regime and its people: even your most secure strongholds are vulnerable. The response inside Iran was immediate: severe internet restrictions, one of the largest digital blackouts in history. But information still found its way out. Videos spread. Questions grew. The promise that the mountains will protect us began to crumble. And now we arrive at the most unsettling reality of all. The United States may have destroyed Iran's underground fortress, reduced its military capacity significantly, and set back its nuclear program. But it has not reopened the Strait of Hormuz. It has not removed the asymmetric threat, and it has not ended the economic pressure building across the world. This is the paradox of modern warfare. Tactical victories are clear, but strategic success remains uncertain. Iran may have lost ground conventionally, but its asymmetric capabilities continue to challenge even the most powerful military on Earth. And as attacks on energy infrastructure continue, the global impact could stretch for months, even years. So now the question is, what happens next? Who escalates? Who pulls back? And how far can this go before it reaches a breaking point? If you found this breakdown valuable and want more deep dive analysis like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.